trekking across some pretty unforgiving but epic-looking landscapes. I've come here to have a close encounter with South America's largest land carnivore, the Andean spectacled bear. These shy and mysterious creatures are almost never seen in this pristine tropical cloud forest. And I've come all this way to give myself the best chance of finding one. Oh my God! This is the time we're gonna get bit. Welcome to Bolivia. Pretty wild, right? I'm Dominic Monaghan. All my life I've been fascinated by animals. Look, see, on the road, Frank. The wilder, the better. And since I was a kid, I've dreamt of traveling the planet to get my hands on some of the rarest, most beautiful, wow, and amazing creatures out there. And now, I finally have my chance. I'm in Bolivia, and this is where trains come to die. I've entered the famous train graveyard on the edge of Bolivia's Uyuni salt flats. Silver and salt were heavily mined in Bolivia, and these trains were the backbone of that economy. The industry collapsed in the 1940s, and all these once mighty trains were abandoned. And due to the high levels of salt in the atmosphere, these trains are now rusting completely away. Looks beautiful though, right? Started my journey here in the salt flats because it's like nowhere else on Earth. But it's not where I'm gonna find the animal that I've come all this way to Bolivia to see. Check this out. This is the Andean spectacled bear. It's called the spectacled bear because they have little white rings around their eyes that make them look like they're wearing glasses. And they're the only bear found in South America. Sharp teeth, sharp claws, and the strength of 10 men. Not a creature to mess with. They tend to shun human contact, quite a shy animal. They're so rare and secretive, scientists don't even know how many are left in the wild. But one thing is certain. You won't find them here at the salt flats. They live in the cloud forests of Bolivia and can be found as high as 14,000 feet above sea level. The fog and rugged terrain of the cloud forest will make this difficult mission almost impossible. Better get moving. Let's get on track, Frank. The first part of my trip is a 500-mile drive north to Bolivia's capital, the highest capital city on Earth, La Paz. From there, we go up and over the Andes, and then down into the cloud forests. Until then, it's just me, Frank, and the open road. Wide open. Though it may look like I'm on an alien planet right now, these are actually the Uyuni salt flats of Bolivia. Over 4,500 square miles of salt. That's about twice the size of Prince Edward Island. Salt flats are one of the flattest extended places on Earth that NASA use it to correlate with their satellites when the skies are blue. But spectacular. And it just goes on forever. 360 degrees of salt right now. And that gives me a great idea. Well, let's jump out. This is too weird an opportunity to miss. The endless horizon completely throws off your perspective, Frank. So let's have some fun. Nice. As soon as I get a signal, I'll post those online. Heading out across these barren flats, it's hard to imagine all this was once a lush, prehistoric lake. That changed about 40,000 years ago. When the heat of the sun eventually dried that lake up, this was all that remained. Over 10 billion tons of salt, and in some places, the salt is 30 feet deep. And because all that salt is just lying on the surface, people have been harvesting it for generations. Quite a booming industry. In fact, you can see these little salt hills here. They've been farmed by the people that work here. There's a truck over here that's actually doing it right now, so maybe I'll go over and have a look. The whole salt mining operation is run by a single co-op, where all workers are part owners. These guys here will stack up the salt into these little salt mountains, and then when it's high enough and ready and dry enough, trucks will come, pick it up, and then they'll bag it and sell it as table salt here in Bolivia and also around the world. But But one of the ironies about the Bolivian people is they don't tend to like the salt that they make here in this country. They prefer the taste of the sea salt. Let's try a little bit of this. I do like salt, but that might have been a little bit too much. Got any chips, Frank? Oh, I need a drink now, Frank. Parched. Come on, let's go. Gracias, amigos. While the salt flats are beautiful, all this salt is toxic to most creatures. But even in this barren landscape, where there's water, there's life. In such a desolate area as this, there isn't that much water to be found. But at the base of this mountain right here is a little isolated patch. And that is where all of the animals around here are going to flock to. That's where I'm headed right now. Small salty lakes like this are located throughout the Bolivian Andes, and they're home to some of the most resilient birds on the planet. This, for my money, is the most beautiful flamingo on the planet. This is James's flamingo. There are 6 different types of flamingo in the world. At certain times of the year, flamingos congregate in flocks by the thousands. They graze plankton and algae that thrive in the salty water. Once the algae is gobbled up, they move on to another lake. But lucky for me, there are a few flamingos left on this one. As you can see, it's defined by these very, very gorgeous colors. Pink hues and yellow bills, or beaks. And their fantastic color is proof that you are what you eat. You can see the bed of this lake is completely covered in algae, and that algae has a very high concentration of beta-carotene, and that's what gives these flamingos that pinkish hue. The more a flamingo eats, the brighter pink it turns. Here's my favorite fact about flamingos. There are more plastic flamingos on this planet than there are real flamingos. It's a shame, isn't it? You got one of those in your garden, Frank? No. Okay, good. You've got class. I've got 3. An elegant and rare creature, the gorgeous James's flamingo. Come on, Frank. Let's get the flock out of here. Crossing the Uni takes me well into the night. The next morning, I'm still 300 miles south of La Paz. Now driving on the Altiplano, or the High Plains Road, and these sand dunes might hide the odd animal if I'm lucky, so I'm just going to park up here. A little bumpy, Frank. Sorry about that. Let's jump out, see what we can see. Well, I'll take out my snake stick, because with me being now in a sandy, duney type area, there's a chance that I might see the odd reptile. You can see just how beautiful it is over here. Those mountains are absolutely gorgeous. It's okay, so it's not going anywhere. Just be a little careful. Look, just over that dune there. Try and stay behind him while he's digging. See? I'm en route to La Paz, Bolivia's capital city. And in this roadside desert, I found a hairy brute. Just over that dune. See? Digging in the dunes. Hey, buddy. All right, I'll put you back in that little hole in a second. Let's go this way a little bit. Let's go this way. This is a little hairy armadillo. Out looking for some early morning breakfast, no doubt. Very cute. He might just start digging if I just leave him to it. You're okay, buddy. The hairy armadillo is defined by being covered by these hairs all over its body. And as you can see, if I just turn him over, he's covered in that hair. It probably keeps him a little warm at night. Armadillo means little armored one in Spanish, and they're all defined by being covered in this armor-plated skin. Any animal that were to try and bite on top of this guy would just get a mouthful of very tough, slightly stinky armor plating, because they tend to keep it a nice pungent smell as a way of, again, stopping any undue attention. They use their hyperactive noses to sniff out danger, as well as foods like tubers, ants, and termites. Then they'll dig down using these oversized claws. And their front and back legs work in unison with each other to kick off as much sand as possible. Look how deep he's going now, Frank. Might be onto something. It looks like he's making his way to France or Spain or somewhere, so just gonna leave him to it. See you later, buddy. The hairy armadillo. Oh. here, I'm driving to Bolivia's capital city, La Paz. Tomorrow, I'll enter the cloud forest to start searching for the rare and secretive spectacled bears. It's been an epic 2-day drive, and I can't wait to check out the city. La Paz is surrounded by mountain peaks and is the world's highest capital city. The area is so thin here, planes need a longer runway for takeoffs and landings. Its nickname is Cloud City, and it literally takes your breath away. With that in mind, let's go check it out, Frank. The mix of European, Spanish, and indigenous cultures makes the city an exciting, creative, and vibrant place. La Paz is a city that's very hilly indeed. Added to the hills is the fact that we're 12,000 feet up, so every so often you need to just stop and catch your breath. I thought I was fit before I came to La Paz. Good workout, though. But to get away from the tourist hotspots, I'm meeting a local guide, and there's only one way to reach her: straight up. The narrow hillside roads in La Paz mean traffic is slow going. This one's us. Come on, Frank. Plus, subways and trams can't be built up or through the mountains. No seatbelts. So the cable cars cut through or over that problem. They proved so popular that 8 more lines are planned. And that will make La Paz the city with the most amount of cable cars in the entire world. Impressive and a little scary. Right, this is where I get off. I'm in El Alto, the highest neighborhood in La Paz. Look at that. An eye-popping 2,000 feet above the city center. It's way up here that I'm meeting my guide, Courtney.
Hey,
Dominic, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Beautiful view from up here.
That's why I wanted to meet you here.
Courtney's promised to take me way off the tourist trail. Cool, I'll follow you.
Oh, come.
And our first stop is definitely that. When we walk through the door, I don't know what to expect.
These are our fighting cholitas.
What's the name of this?
Las cholitas luchadoras.
Cholitas. Fighting Cholitas are an all-female wrestling group that attracts huge crowds in Bolivia. This is just a practice session.
This is only a practice session.
Not a real fight.
They fight every Sunday.
My guide Courtney tells me the word cholita was once a sexist term for the indigenous Cholo women of Bolivia, but these women shatter stereotypes and even take on their male counterparts, the luchadors.
They wanted to show that they're equal to men.
And they do that on their own terms. What are the rules?
Well, actually, there are no rules.
Oh, that wasn't good. Taiwan, did that at school.
That's not fair.
3 against 1, man. You have, like, local champions who fight other people?
Yeah, of course. We've got one of her champions right here. She's Juanita la Camiñosa.
Oh, yeah?
She's very rough. She's very famous.
Sounds like my kind of woman.
You should go in there. Juanita!
I'll fight him.
Juanita! Juanita! Get him! Agárralo! Oh. Yeah. You have to hurry. She's out here.
Jesus Christ. Your phone number. I'm in La Paz, Bolivia's intense capital city. Look at that. And when my tour guide said she'd set me up with her friends.
These are our fighting cholitas.
My God, this isn't what I was hoping for. That's like yoga. So where do you live? Let's go for pizza. Say, kick me in the balls. Go. Oh, Juanita. You remind me of my first girlfriend. I don't think your friends should be ganging up on me. Oh, my God. Do anything. Say it, come on, please. Yes. Submit. Oh, not for the first time. Thanks, Juanita. My back's been out for a couple of days, actually. It feels quite good now. I've known some rough women in my life, but that one takes the piss. Nice to meet you. I'm hoping Courtney's next stop doesn't land me in hospital.
Right here, we're at what we call in Spanish, La Calle de las Brujas. In English, the Street of the Witches.
Witches Street.
Witches Street.
She tells me Witches Street is the place to come in La Paz to make offerings or pray to Pachamama or Mother Earth. The women of Witches Street are more like fortune tellers who facilitate those blessings, and Courtney set up a reading to bless my upcoming search for the spectacled bear. Tell her, Courtney, if she wants to ask me any questions, I'm an open book. 25,
Dice que si quiere.
single,
Aquí es la mesa preparada
rich.
para el viaje.
The blessings work by piling a tray with candies that represents facets of life, such as love, work, money, health. How many times have you done this, Courtney?
Well, I do it every February. It's a very important time of the year because Carnival starts in La Chaya, where we bless our houses and we bless our studies.
After the tray of goodies is blessed, it gets set on fire. Once the affectations burn and the smoke rises to the sky, your prayers have been received. Every culture has their own way of wishing people luck or giving them blessings, and Bolivia's no different. Fire's a very cleansing element. It starts out as something, becomes something new at the end of it. It's nice, right? I mean, it's all positive. It smells good. With good vibes on my side, we move on from La Paz. And just 30 minutes outside of the city is one of Bolivia's most astounding locations. So before I go to the cloud forest, I'm going to stop for a quick look around. Beautiful. This is the Valley of Souls. It was believed by some Bolivian people that the petrified souls of loved ones end up in these quite dramatic peaks. It's the dry season right now. In the wet season, you can see how much higher the water table is, and this whole place becomes a kind of raging rapid. It's almost like Bolivia's version of the Grand Canyon in the United States. I'm gonna jump off here and go and have a look around. Because of the sheer rock faces, animals that come here looking for a drink will get trapped. That goes for creatures great and small. Wow, this is cool. Hang on, it's going under. Nice. Wow. Great burrowing ability on this little guy. And if this isn't one of the more bizarre creatures I've had the chance to see while I'm in Bolivia, I don't know what is. You would probably think that this is a worm, right? It's actually a very small snake. It's called a blind snake, and they're among the smallest snakes in the world. I've never seen one of these snakes before. It's small, but mighty, able to burrow quickly into rocks and hard earth at a moment's notice, despite its seeming disability. Those eyes that they have are not working anymore since it spends most of its time in between rocks. Those eyes are not needed down in the dark. They see with their tongue. Its preferred diet, because it has such a tiny little mouth, are things like ants and termites, maybe the odd occasional grub or larva of an insect. And what a fast-moving little snake for its size. The very swift and ultimately fascinating blind snake. Put this guy back. All the hiking and no breakfast has my stomach grumbling, Frank. But this looks interesting. Something smells good. Hola. ¿Qué es?
Tawa, tawa.
Tawa tawa. Just told me to take a seat. All right, let's go, Gracias. Tawa tawas are a classic Bolivian treat. Sort of like a deep-fried cookie or donut, enjoyed with sprinkled sugar, honey, or my favorite, treacle. You can find tawa tawa stands all over Bolivia. Very easy to make. Cheap and yummy food. Also something that you can eat on the go quite quickly, so with all this driving that I'm doing, it's kind of cool. Jump out, grab a snack, keep on moving. Yummy, yummy. Tawa tawa. Muchas gracias. Muy sabroso. Adios. That hit the spot, and time to hit the road. I have a hell of a drive ahead of me. I'm now finally headed to the cloud forest, where I'm meeting a biologist who should help me find the spectacled bear. But to reach him, I have to climb 15,000 feet up the Andes, then wind my way down into the cloud forest. This is getting really quite spooky now. Look at these clouds rolling in. At the top of the mountain is a large statue of Christ, which marks the beginning of the North Yungas Road, more famously known as Death Road. Wow. It earned its name because at one time 300 people a year died trying to drive it. It's 40 miles of sheer terror and drops 12,000 feet in altitude, making it one of the world's longest continuous downhill roads. Some of the drops. Ooh. That's no joke. Rock slides above and below can make already slim stretches even thinner. Beautiful and scary. That is about the width of my car. And I wouldn't even like to estimate how big that drop is, but it's certainly hundreds, if not thousands of feet. When any part of that road comes away, you're going to be a statistic on Death Road. I'm in Bolivia, taking on the world's most dangerous road, aptly called Death Road. That is about the width of my car. And I wouldn't even like to estimate how big that drop is, but it's certainly hundreds, if not thousands of feet. But through clenched teeth, I inch my way down the mountain. Dotted up and down Death Road are little monuments where people have unfortunately died here. After 3 hours of hair-raising twists and turns, it's safe to say I never want to do that again. So it looks like we're coming to the end of Death Road. I can wipe this sweat off my brow now because we've survived and arrived. These are the cloud forests of the Bolivian Yungas valleys. These subtropical rainforests run all along the lower eastern Andes. And if I'm going to find a spectacled bear, the Yungas are my best bet. I'm supposed to be meeting up with a guy called Enzo. Enzo Aliaga Rosell is a biologist who studies the spectacled bears and has actually seen one in the wild. Oh, it's gotta be him. He looks friendly. If anyone can lead me to a bear, it should be him. All right.
You made it.
Yeah, I survived Death Road.
Welcome, you're a survivor.
Yeah, this is my first proper chance to find a bear, so we need to get going.
Try not to fall.
This protected area is the Cotapato National Park, which covers 230 square miles.
Whoa.
Spider monkey. One of the most dexterous monkeys on the planet. And they're among the largest monkeys in South America. They spend their lives in the high canopies, foraging in groups for fruits, berries, nuts, even insects and eggs. They have an incredibly strong prehensile tail, which it's using right now to wrap around the branch. It's almost like a fifth hand. When hanging by their tail, they look like a spider hanging by a silk thread. Spider monkeys are known for adopting these very archetypal kind of monkey poses with their arms above their head, flailing around. Very, very long hands and feet. And the palms and the soles of its feet are hairless, but gives it this fantastic grip. Look at the size of his hands and feet in relation to his body. Great. Spider monkey. All right. Keep moving. Enzo and I split up to boost our chances of finding traces of the bear. He heads into the forest, and I continue along this riverbed. Snake. Hey, snake. Just checking to see what this snake's temperament's like. Try and bring this guy down. So what time are you going to get bit? I'm in Bolivia's Yungas cloud forests, searching for the mysterious Andean spectacled bear. Snake. But a 6-foot boa constrictor has sidelined my mission. You're okay, big snake, you're okay. You're okay. Hi. You could back up a little bit, Frank. Back up. All right, I'm gonna put this guy down. Woo! Look at the size of this snake. What a specimen. Absolutely gorgeous coloration on these guys. There's sometimes... Hi. Oh, he's just coming to say hello. There's sometimes... This is the time when you're gonna get bit. They're sometimes called the red-tailed boa. If I let this guy move around, you can see how its skin, scales, start to become a little redder at the base of its tail there. Right here, right now, it's almost glowing. It's like glitter, the skin, in a way. Any snake this shiny and shimmery has likely just shed its skin, something all snakes do as they continue to grow throughout their life. You see how short that was like me? Always keep an eye on the head of a snake when you're working with it. You don't want to give it the opportunity to strike back at you. Obviously, boa constrictors like this are fantastic hunters and squeeze their prey to death before eating it. But did you know? At some point in snakes' evolutionary journey, they were legged creatures. And there's a remnant of a pelvis and also back legs right here on this snake. They look like little spurs. Pretty crazy, right? And they use them in the mating process to grab hold of the female. But if you were to take an X-ray of this particular part of this snake's body, you'd see what was at one point a pair of legs, which are now internal and rudimentary. I'm gonna put this guy back on the other side of the river where I found him. Come on, Frank. Absolutely beautiful red-tailed boa constrictor. See you later, dude. After searching the riverbeds for the spectacled bear's trail, I rejoin Enzo empty-handed, and he's had no better luck. Time is running out. Let's see, we're starting to lose some light now. Time to turn in. Hopefully tomorrow's a better day. My last day in Bolivia is my last chance at finding a spectacled bear. It's ominously gloomy, but there's a glimmer of hope beside the spot where I'm meeting Enzo. Looks like a little bear sign. All that. It's probably the most positive sign I've seen so far. Cool.
Don't you have a jacket?
This is all I have, so...
Tough guy.
No, not tough guy, stupid guy. This grassy part of the cloud forests is called the paramo. I like your size, though. All sorts of creatures hike through the grasslands, snacking on berries and vegetation abundant here. And that includes spectacled bears.
All these rocks are kind of dark, and also the vegetation gonna help as a good camouflage for the bear.
After a mile or so, we find clear evidence that we are in bear country.
Look at the bromeliad over there.
Okay, so this is their favorite food. Let's have a look. Bromeliads are a spiky flowering plant with a sweet, juicy core, irresistible to spectacled bears.
You can see the center, the core was removed. It seems that the bear was chewing it.
So the center is the juicy part, that's the best bit.
Yeah, that's what they are looking for. This is a good sign, I guess.
Cool. It's such a good sign, I don't even mind the pouring rain. Well, not much. Oh, here's a fun little fact for you. I'm the only member of my crew that isn't wearing waterproofs today. It's good, isn't it? Don't laugh at me, Frank.
Told you so.
You didn't tell me anything. Soon we meet Enzo's colleague, Fernando, who's worked ahead to find another hint of the bear. Oh, muy bien. Okay, so you might think at home that this is a little gross, but this is bear poop. It's great news. This poop is fresh, maybe only 2 hours old.
They tend to mark some territory with the poop.
Well, this is the best sign up to now that not only are there bears here, but there is a specific bear here.
Okay.
We're getting so close, with a bear potentially just around the bend. And a few 100 feet down the path, Fernando finds another important clue.
Oh, Enzo!
What? Oh, it's fur. Can I see? Can I see? See?
There.
Look at that. That's definitely fur of a large animal, and in this part of the world, it can only be the spectacled bear. The only large creature that would have that much fur. So they come over and mark themselves on the tree.
Yeah, they found these trees and started like...
Enzo and Fernando decide the best thing to do now is wait for the bear to come to us.
I think we can stay here.
So we find a hidden spot overlooking the entire valley and this watering hole. And if we're as close to the bear as we'd hope, it's only a matter of time before he comes here for a drink. Any bear in this little valley here should be getting seen by the three of us. We just have to wait now. So we wait. And wait. And wait. We've been here pretty much all day, and there's been no sign of the bear. But the longer we wait, the lower my odds of seeing a bear. As you can see, this weather front is coming in thick and fast. The fog is an unstoppable force. Right now, this is terrible conditions to spot an animal. If a spectacled bear doesn't appear soon, my entire mission to spot one in the wild will be a total failure. I'm deep in the cloud forests of Bolivia, and so close to finding the elusive Andean spectacled bear, I can smell it. This is bear poop. Our plan was to let the bear cross our path as it comes for a drink. This weather front is coming in thick and fast. Clearly, Mother Nature has a different plan. If we get caught in this fog, we might get lost, and it is bitterly cold. Right now, this is terrible conditions to spot an animal.
We cannot see the valley anymore.
Yeah, I mean, even if there was a bear here right now, we couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I have to concede that we're done. I'm not seeing a bear in the wild. What do you think, Enzo? You think we should go?
Yeah, I think so.
Disappointing, but it proves just how difficult it is to see these mysterious creatures on their turf. But Enzo has an exciting idea. His friend Vicky runs an animal refuge in a neighboring valley. She's rescued 2 spectacled bears from poachers. They could be my best opportunity to get up close and personal with these rare creatures. Are you Vicky?
Yes.
Hey, Vicky.
Welcome to La Hacienda Verde.
Vicky Ocio has saved more than 500 animals from the illegal pet trade, poaching, or deforestation since 2003. Now on our way to the Andean Bear enclosure. This 10,000 square foot enclosure is built into the landscape and allows the male bear inside, named Aruma, to live a semi-wild life.
Vamos, Aruma, vamos.
Vicky, who's developed a strong relationship with him over 8 years, calls him down.
Aruma. Aruma. Aruma.
And I finally get my first look at the creature who evaded me in the wild. That is a handsome animal. Wow. Whew. That is an extremely impressive creature. Right away, the size and power of this 300-pound beast hits home. First thing that I noticed was the size of those claws. Bears are known for having massive paws. Look at that. Like little miniature daggers. Vicky rescued this bear from a local market when he was just a cub. If she hadn't, he would have been sold as an exotic pet to the highest bidder. And today, he's being introduced to the sanctuary's 5-year-old female as a prospective mate. It's like a first date.
It's like, exactly. We don't know what is going to happen.
Well, you never know what's going to happen on a first date.
Aruma, vamos, papa.
Vicky has spent 3 years planning this introduction, but there's one major concern. Male bears, including this one, are twice the female's size. He could kill her if he wanted. What they're hoping to do is just open up one of these little side doors here and give this male bear the freedom to walk through and say hello to the female. There's some helpers up here and some vets. If a nightmare scenario were to occur, we're having a fight, the big male might get darted and then brought back into its own enclosure. The last thing they want is obviously one of the bears to get injured, so it's a little nervous, but exciting at the same time. With tranquilizers in place, the gate opens.
Venga, Aruma. Wait, espera. Ahora sí.
The female, who until now has stayed hidden, comes down to investigate all the commotion. After years in solitude, the male quickly picks up the female's scent. Their first encounter doesn't bode well. If this male continues to be aggressive, that's not a good start to their relationship. This male bear needs to meet the female halfway.
Hardly speak.
But as the minutes tick by, the male starts to settle. See, this is a great moment. The female is now approaching the male. That hadn't happened initially. It was the male with a kind of bolshy curiosity that would eventually scare her off. Looks like we've averted from the nightmare scenario, which would have been the male comes in, female gets scared, and the male chases her around and they're not going to get on. It's early days, but it looks like they're forming the beginnings of a healthy relationship.
We were very nervous, tense moments, but now the game is still going on. She following him, and then getting a bit scared, and then come back. You know, it's very nice.
What an amazing moment.
Thanks for sharing this with us.
What a fantastic way to end my day. To have that male and female meet for the first time, and hopefully it will end up bringing a new little baby bear into existence. A spectacular, spectacled bear. So that was Bolivia, a country of baffling experiences and one of the most challenging expeditions yet. I came here to see an extremely rare animal, and in the process saw some of the most amazing and epic landscapes. Though I didn't get to see a spectacled bear in the wild, I may have witnessed something just as exciting. The chance of a new generation of bears spawning a sanctuary that will always keep it safe. And for me, that's made this entire trip worthwhile. Bolivia, beautiful. For more wild things, go to oln.ca.